The contraption is built in the style of Imperial War Machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations. But on closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a children's slide. Joseph, what the f, bro? Heyo, beautiful people, how are you today? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you're playing Endwalker as well, how do you guys feel about it so far? But some bad stuff is happening in GARLEAN'S, and it sounds a little spoopy. At the end of the trail, Jarek is amenable to making a deal, even though I definitely... Well, that's besides the point. So you've come seeking ceruleum, have you? Damn it, dark in here. What? Those purebloods up at Victor Spoils sent you? Return to their enemies for help. They must be more desperate than I thought. Then again, Lysinia's got her little sister to think about. A sister? But we only saw Lysinia and 3 men. It's possible she died from whatever was ailing her. If she needed treatment, I doubt there'd be a way to get it around here. I may have refused Lysinia at first, thinking she'd come back with something to exchange, but I can spare them a bottle's worth of ceruleum. Consider it a reward for introducing me to the rest of your contingent. Be sure to send them your way. Our way, I mean, you hear? Okay, that works. Gimme. I can't for the life of me think why Lysinia would keep her sister a secret from us. But we can't ask about that after we've delivered the ceruleum. Come on, let's hurry back. This isn't right. It's too quiet. I would have thought Alphino would still be treating them by the fire, but they're nowhere to be seen. I'll look inside the house while you search outside. They can't have gone far. I was wondering if, like, maybe they're tempered, but, you know, they're probably not that and just cautious and scared. They attack him? They asked me to help carry supplies. But when I followed them back here, they attacked me. Got me off guard, forced me to defend myself. I fear they fared rather worse than me. You can't fool us. We know what you're about. Vultures. That's what you are. Waiting in the wings for us to show weakness, then in you swoop. Here to help? What brought on a ploy to make us lower our guard? Let you in. Put ourselves at your mercy. Put us in chains. Steal our lands. Get your revenge. You're wrong. That's not what any of us want. Save the arguments for later. We've got bigger problems. Found empty medicine bottles and a bed that was still warm. It's true. Lysinia was hiding her sick sister inside the house. Now there's no sign of either of them. Where are they? Where did they go? Away from you and your... And if you think I'll tell you, you're a fool. I'd never give up my people. We're trying to help them, you idiot! Her sister's ill. The empty bottles prove it. So the medicine ran out, or she put it in her pockets to make it easier to carry, or to avoid the sound of clinking glass. There are beasts everywhere. How could you let them go it alone? To protect them from you! You invaded our homeland. Potato with the same sorcery used to slay our countrymen. The Garlean should sooner die than suffer the insult. Better for them to flee, keep their purity intact, and be corrupted by your vile magics. We were waiting for a chance to free them, just the moment you arrived. This is getting us nowhere. I cannot say how Lysinia and her sister will react when we find them, but find them we must. Go on without me, both of you. I first need to tend to my injuries, and theirs. I will join you in the search after. Alright. Be careful. We'll do our best to find them quickly. There's only one path out of here, so that's where we'll start. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really surprised that they don't trust us. 2 sets of fresh footprints, young women, judging by the size. This is definitely them. Come on. Oh boy, oh boy. The trail stops at the frozen lake. Perhaps they chose this route so as to not leave footprints. I can't think of any other reason. Look at this place, it's crawling with beasts. I can only imagine how hard it must be for her ailing sister to cross the ice. We could really do with Alphino's help, but we can't afford to wait for him. Let's split up and look for clues. Oh no, what the fuck, what the fuck? The blood staining the snow appears to be fresh. Judging by the amount, the victim may have been severely wounded. Trail of blood leads southeastward. Oof, oof, big and oofin'. The 2 bodies are already cold. But they sneak attack me with their sub-zero powers.
Blood trail. We found one. They were attacked. No. Why wouldn't they? Safer to brave the wilds than trust in our magic. We should have... I should have... We can't leave them like this. We have to take them home.
What if we're only making it worse?
Maybe we don't belong here, but neither do they. Not out here in the wind and the cold.
Alfredo's a good boy. Poor babies. They don't understand magic, and magic ruined their entire fucking civilization. So I get it.
I heard the story about Varus's voice from beyond the grave. Of course, I didn't believe it, but Licinia and her sister did. Perhaps there's something to the tale after all.
While we were playing with my brother and Renee earlier, I made a joke that the body parts are Varus's body parts, and now I'm like, yo, wait the fuck a minute, hold on. Hold on. Maybe that's why people are hearing his voice. You heard it here first, folks. Varus's body parts are being used as a catalyst for this crazy bullshit, but, you know, it's just conjecture at this point.
I want to understand. So I'm going to borrow this for a while, if that's all right. You had every reason not to trust us. We came as trespassers, invaders. But I pray that in time, we will be more than that to you. That we will find a way to help your loved ones. And see that no more children are left to freeze alone in the snow.
That's rough. There must have been something we could have done. But what? Should we have never come here? Would they still be alive if we hadn't? That guy's like, peace, I'm out. My heart hurts now. A way forward. Alphino's resolve may be shaken, but he has not forgotten his duty. We have already caused enough harm here. Let us return to the camp before we cause any more. As for those inside the house, we should send someone to take care of them. Someone who isn't us. All we can do for now is make our report to Lucia. Do everything in our power to prevent further tragedy. So let us linger here no more. Come. Big and oofing. I can't see you, Lucia. Everybody else has the same idea. Alice and Alphino tell me they have finished their preliminary search for survivors, but refrain from saying much more than that. Clearly, they are reluctant to provide details. Might I ask for your account?
Thank you for your report. We shall inform the troops of these developments and instruct them to proceed with the utmost caution should they encounter any survivors.
Allow me to go and speak with the ones at the victor's spoils. They may be more willing to listen to a fellow Garlean and accept our offer of assistance.
I pray you are right. And though I am loath to burden you any further, should there be an appropriate occasion to speak of Licinia and her sister, please do so.
I am sorry to have put you through this.
My distress is nothing compared to their suffering. So tell me, what else have we learned?
As you may have already heard, we have succeeded in curing the members of the Popularis, Maxima identified. They have provided us with some intriguing insights into the current state of Garlemald. The assassination of Emperor Varus was the catalyst for the civil war. Nerva declared his claim to the throne, and his opponents refused to recognize it. Fighting broke out in the capital, where Nerva's Third Legion clashed with the First, who remained loyal to Varus even after his death.
Of course, even Imperial warmongers would balk at the idea of turning their shining city into a battleground. Like burning down the wood to spite the wasps. Neither side would be so mad. Unless something or someone inflamed their animosity to such an extent that they could not help but act against their better judgment.
It brings to mind events of the Gimlet Dark, does it not? The Emperor's sudden withdrawal from the front lines, specifically. Nerva and his father, Titus, Varus's then political rival, took advantage of rumors that Crown Prince Zenos had been possessed by a demon.
Elidibus, what better way to disparage your enemies than with the truth, or a close enough approximation?
Indeed. But before their accusations could be substantiated, many of Titus's followers were silenced. While some were merely stripped of their status, others died under curious circumstances. One after another, suddenly and suspiciously.
Again, Elidibus. Like as not, he had a hand in it. No evidence was found to implicate Varus, certainly. Nevertheless, Titus, Nerva, and the Third Legion would have judged it a brazen attempt by the Emperor to rid himself of his political enemies. And then, in the midst of this growing turmoil, Varus Sosgalvis is murdered. And Garlemald's own prodigal son, Gaius van Belsar, is named the murderer. Shortly thereafter, Nerva claims the right of succession. And in response, the First Legion claims the assassination was part of a coup d'etat orchestrated by Titus and Nerva.
So no one is at fault, and everyone else is to blame.
I should add that both parties received substantial financial backing. presumably to provide them with the means and encouragement to pursue a swift victory, and that these contributions came from the self-same benefactor.
That would be Asahi's body,
I'd heard
House
House
Brutus.
Brutus had been filling the Third Legion's coffers, but the First as well.
It would seem so. Though the Populares determined that the First Legion received funds from a variety of organizations, all had connections to House Brutus.
So Fandaniel, in the guise of Asahi, was playing both sides against each other the entire time.
The information we gained from my friends does not end there. One night, shortly after fighting broke out, the capital was shaken by an immense tremor. From that point onward, they have no memories, no recollection of any events, including our clash on the Magna Glaciers. But when asked about the Imperial Palace and its bizarre transformation, they somehow recall Emperor Varys giving them orders in their dreams. May the Tower of Babel stand as testament to the glory of Garlemald.
This sounds awfully familiar.
We have something to show you all.
Varys spoke to them through this radio. Perhaps it was a recording, but if not, that would be inexplicable.
We are of one mind, then.
The ether that permeates the ore used in this device is almost identical to that of the talismans.
I see it. While it is likely more by coincidence than design, these devices might also ward against a primal's influence. A picture is beginning to form. If the tremor felt throughout Garlemald was a wave of ether emitted by a primal, then while those within range would have been tempered, those huddled around a radio desperate for news concerning the Civil War would have been spared.
No wonder Licinia kept it close.
My friends, I must speak with you.
Damn, Sarah, now that was super fucking loud.
A young man was caught trying to steal our supplies. He is a soldier of the Iron Men, we think, but one who has not been made thrall. Thankfully, Magni restrained him before blood was spilled. The stranger is outside, if you wish to ask him questions.
I think we do.
Who do we have here?
GARLEAN'S? Traitors to your homeland! Have you no shame?
I am Lucia Junius, a Temple Knight of Ishgard. And you are?
Iulus Pier Norbanus. And that's all you invaders will get from me.
We are not here to invade Garlemald. Far from it. Like you, our allies in Eorzea and the Far East fight in defense of their lives and their loved ones even as we speak. But it is the people of Garlemald who have suffered most. This we know. And that is why we have come to offer you our aid, that we may unite against our common foe. Whether you believe me or not, those are the facts. Now, answer me this. Why would a proud soldier of the Empire be reduced to stealing? The situation must be dire indeed for you to go to such lengths. If it is supplies you seek, we would gladly share ours, or turn a blind eye while you leave with your spoils.
I will not negotiate. My commander will determine how to deal with you and yours. If you wish to treat with him, I will take you, but no more than 3.
I don't much like the sound of that. But if we do accept his proposal, I suggest the two of us and...
Please allow me and Alize to act as envoys.
May I ask why?
We have seen with our own eyes the hardships the GARLEAN'S face. How their futures and lives hang in the balance.
It's not the warmest invitation, but it's an opportunity to prove our intentions true. Maybe not a chance to make things right, but a chance to make them better.
What would your mother say? I'm going with you.
I can see that persuading you otherwise is a lost cause, but you will proceed with the utmost care.
Understood. Let's go.
A couple of children and what? A sellsword? Is this an insult?
Not in the least. You will find that they are more than qualified to speak on our behalf.
There are many dangers on the road ahead. I will need that back.
You have a gunblade? I did not get a good look at it. It looked like one because the hilt was really fucking curved. Chocobo, thanks. You'll be received as invited guests, and so I urge you to observe proper social etiquette and conduct yourselves accordingly. Your safe return takes precedence above all else. Remember this. Thancred, in particular, will be worried sick if you're gone too long. Why Thancred? May the Fury watch over and keep you. Thancred, where are you? Are you and the children ready? I will explain the route once we are outside your camp. If anyone attempts to follow us, we will judge it an act of hostility. We will not hesitate to take appropriate measures. I would expect nothing less. You have our full cooperation. Alright, this is far enough. Listen carefully. We head over that hill, then follow the road until we reach Liminal Station 4. Children in the lead. I want you where I can see you. We do have names, you know. I'm Alice, and he's Alphino. And last but not least, there's Shosov. Shosov. Where have I heard that before? No matter, Alphino and Alice will watch the road ahead while we bring up the rear. I wasn't lying about there being many dangers, so you're to run, not to saunter. Run towards the station. If you even think about going for your weapon, the deal's off. Should any creatures bar the way, we go around them. Julius will accompany you when moving toward the Baker Way without falling behind. If you leave or lose sight. Ready to make dash for the station, what we say? Ready as I'll ever be. Will he actually get mad if I take my weapon out? Can you imagine? There's your fate. Oh my god, Alphino, don't go so close to the Eblin bear, you dick. Their damn tiny baby elephant legs. This is it. The first stop, that is. Good. It looks like your friends knew better than to follow us. Are these your headquarters? No. We're stopping here so I can check for pursuers. As it appears you've kept to your side of the bargain, we can carry on. Swear to God, if some dumbass decided to actually come with us, north of the station is Regio Demorum, one of the main residential areas, or at least it was. The afflicted roam the streets in packs. They'll tear us to shreds if given the chance. Keep close, no wandering off, understood. The last bastion, I'm assuming, yep. Julius knows only too well that danger lurks around every corner. From here, we'll be heading northeast, keeping to the left of the railway. While the route itself is straightforward, getting past the hordes unseen is anything but. Keep your weapons at the ready. They would attack their own countrymen. Aye, they spare their own, but slaughter the rest without hesitation. Though we'll try to avoid detection, the chances of sneaking by completely unnoticed are slim at best. I will lead the way, but in the event we are seen, you're to fight them off. Those two will follow us, provided they can refrain from drawing their weapons. While I doubt they would be foolish enough to stab their guide in the back, I will not take that chance. With that said, let us proceed. Oh man, there's a bunch of people about to get absolutely fucking rocked. I like spawning stuff while people are in a quest and then murdering the things we spawned and their things. It's just fun to do. Plus that person was a tank, so they don't have like super deeps. I see why your comrades chose you. Julius, our contingent has a cure for the afflicted, or tempered as we call them. Your people would need to be taken into custody that we may administer the treatment, but they would eventually regain their sanity. Is that so? For all I know, your treatment would simply force them to forsake one master for another. As far as I and my legion are concerned, they are no longer our people. They're beyond saving. Those who thought differently and tried to reason with them were butchered for their bleeding hearts. Come. We have to keep moving. Also, it's like, eventually I'm gonna meet someone who's just like, you're that dude who killed all these Garleans. Oh no! Hey, looks like we got some people. I'm just gonna spawn mine and start going absolutely fucking crazy. Looks like we're not being followed. We will continue onward. I meant what I said. These people deserve only death. I stayed my hand before only out of a desire to remain undiscovered. That is still the higher priority. We should continue to avoid any unnecessary confrontation. Keep following the railway. Look at what they've become. Would you still stand there and claim they can be cured? Those exposed to have... Oh, that's Alphino. Those exposed to a vast quantity of a primal's ether may suffer severe corruption. Even with treatment, such victims are beyond salvation. Then you admit it. Now that you have seen these monstrosities for yourself, perhaps you will think twice before speaking of a cure. We're almost there. You've kept your side of the agreement, so I will keep mine. This way. This is Tertium. Tertium? One of Garlemald's largest stations. It now serves as our headquarters. I've already sent the twins ahead. I will be with you soon, so wait for me at the bottom of the stairs. My whole ass. Starts to make me think of Final Fantasy XIV. It's plain to see why they chose this as their base of operations. They could have done a lot worse. Even so, I imagine it's not the easiest place to live. Indeed. And if Julius was willing to make the perilous journey to Camp Broken Glass in search of food, their own supplies must be all but exhausted. They may be shielded from the wind and snow, but it's still bitterly cold, much like Victor's spoils. It must be a constant struggle to keep their people warm. Lower your voices. While you may be here as my guests, the others will not take kindly to your presence. My commander is in the locomotive over there. Thanks. I'm gonna go attune to the Aetheryte really quick, unless it's gonna jump me into cutscene. Okay, cool.
These are their chosen representatives.
Very well. Let us hear what they have to say.
Yes, sir. I present to you our commander, Lord Quintus Van Kina. Legatus of the First Legion.
What a beard.
The first? I had no idea you had survived.
We lost our emperor, our city, more than half our troops. For my wounds, I may never take the field again. But we survived, aye. In a manner much to your liking, I dare say.
We have no intention of adding to your misfortunes, nor do we bear you any ill will.
Spare me. Though you children may speak in earnest, overtures of peace ever ring hollow in my ears. So long as man stands to profit from his neighbor's suffering, war is inevitable. Driven from our ancestral homeland into this blasted waste. Yet still you yearned to rob us of our paltry scraps. 'Twas only with Magitech that you learned to keep your distance. Though we knew it was only a matter of time before you regrouped and returned. Conquest and empire were our only defenses. Emperors Solus and Varys understood this, and through their campaigns saw us grow and prosper. Much blood has been spilled in Garlemald's name, aye. But if it is a choice between yours and mine, then it is hardly a choice at all.
I do not deny that a great many conflicts throughout history were driven by the desire or necessity to gain by another's loss. That is not why we are here. Nor have we come to petition your aid in the war with the Telophoroi, grave though that threat may be. Our purpose is simply this. We wish to help you. Let us help you. If there is aught that can be done to ease your plight, we would be glad to do it.
Perhaps you would. But regardless of the ideals you espouse, your leaders would not send an army into Garlemald if they did not stand to benefit. If we accept their aid, they will expect their efforts to be rewarded once the Telophoroi are no longer a threat. And after compensation and concessions, the great empire would be brought to heel. Her enemies rejoice at her downfall. Our third eye, a mark of shame.
We won't stand idly by and let your people be humiliated. And we're not alone in that. We only want to make a difference, to make this world of ours better. Surely you can understand that. What I'm trying to say is, there are so many people who just don't care about making you suffer. And maybe that's almost insulting after all the suffering you feel the world has subjected your people to, but believe it or not, that's the truth. And now we're here, and all we're asking is for you to tell us what you want, what you hope for.
So much blood has been shed, so much lost, all because of this endless war. Who wouldn't want to end it? Can we not work together to face our problems as one?
Answer me this, young peacemakers. If a world without conflict is your desire, why reject the unity and prosperity of Garlemald? Is it because we do not share your faith? That we do not share your heritage? That our ideals and virtues differ? That we cherish and hold in the highest that which you do not? Disparity is the root of discord, and peace built on compromise is flawed and fleeting. Happiness for one and all is a dream, and the reality is that to the victor go the spoils. That is why we Garleans will never submit nor surrender. For freedom and for pride, we will remain true to ourselves until the bitter end. That is my hope. It seems there is nothing more to say on the matter. You will remain here while I decide what is to be done with you. Do not be alarmed. No harm will come to you if you cooperate.
We will not resist. However, as your guests, I ask that we be allowed to speak with the other members of your group.
As you wish. I had no intention of locking you up, as by dawn you would be frozen stiff and you're no good to me dead. You are free to move about the encampment, but there is one condition. Collar them.
What are these?
Incentive. You'll be watched at all times. Stray too far or act suspiciously, and we will administer a rather painful shock. Stop! Keep away from that one. The champion of Eorzea is not so easily cowed. Even if he allowed himself to be collared, the shock would be no more than an itch. No. If he refuses to obey, we will activate the twins' restraints instead.
This is why people don't like you, Garland.
Don't worry about us.
We'll forget we're even wearing them soon enough.
Even now, you still... Why go to such lengths? What is it all for?
They almost got him. They got him a little bit right there, maybe. May one spread on those blackest nights. We must share the warmth of our fire. Because even the most bitter adversary must one day see reason. Oh man, thinking about the boy. I already said it. I'm not saying it again.
You are a curious one. A far cry from the merciless barbarian others paint you to be.
Oh, that would be my brother. That they're thinking of the Raldo Tharl.
Take them away.
That's when they're like, what? No, the other one is a Vieira, and I'm like,
yes, sir.
Hori? Hori's a scary, but no, the dude's just like, yeah, they walk around with that red magic, kebabbing our men in the dick. Personae non gratae. Julius has his orders, unpleasant though they may be. As below Quintus's instructions, I'm to supervise you during your time here in Tertium. Before you ask, no, I don't have a key or any other means to remove your collars, nor would I tell you if I did. And if you try anything, you'll soon wish you hadn't. So, do you truly intend to speak with the others, or was that merely a ruse? Well, in no hurry to disobey, Lord Quintus, if that's what you mean. Or perhaps you doubt the wisdom of his decision. Do as you will, but remember, I'll be watching. If I catch one of you doing anything untoward, trying to trick off people into turning their coats and the like, those shock collars, will be the least of your worries. Understood? Though we're somewhat compromised, to put it lightly, let's not waste this opportunity. I suggest splitting up and learning what we can of their situation, and above all else, don't use magics of any sort. Hey, Seamus. You, on the other hand, may go wherever you wish. Even outside the camp, I know full well I couldn't stop you if I tried. Oh shit, I accidentally did not read that. I fucking double tapped, basically, as I laughed. Whoopsie. So cold. The young soldier is on the verge of losing consciousness. It's you, Shosov Oshidari. I served under Lord Gaius in the 14th, my whole voice. The 14th Legion. I was there on the night the Praetorium fell. You and your adventurers, you killed them. My comrades, my friends, swept them aside in their dozens as though they were nothing to you. And maybe I am too. Just another faceless enemy to be cut down. But it won't be long until our countrymen return. You get what you deserve. Balk my words. Oofin doofin. That adds a new context to when you do Praetorium and all 8 of you get in Magitech and start blowing everybody up. You came with Julius, didn't you? Well, whatever business brought you here, you'd best keep your hands off that aetherite. It's deactivated, but I'd rather you didn't mess about with it. There are others throughout the city, built by GARLEAN'S. 4 GARLEAN'S. They teleport all over in the blink of an eye, provided there was a terminal nearby. These days, however, we use the aetherite's power to keep this place lit, though that comes at the cost of its normal function. I know who you are, the so-called champion of Eorzea. Come to gloat, have you? Wipe that smirk off your face. By the blood of our fallen compatriots, I swear I'll... Damn. Endure the sutures. Of all the times, the worst of the lot within striking distance, and I can't even muster the strength. If it weren't for the 3rd bleeding us, we'd be the end of you. Virgilia's treachery nearly cost Lord Quintus's life. We made our escape. Took shelter in a mansion. I got southern all of a sudden. Tended to the wounded as we prepared to strike back, and then night fell, and we gathered around the radio. Then the roar. The terrible roar. Capital was in chaos, but we were spared. You can call this a mercy, mind intact, the body broken, a soldier in name alone. I'd cut you down where you stand if I could, murderer. This radio is the same model as the one used at Victor's spoils. Perhaps it is what saved the soldiers here from being tempered. My eyes. Did you learn anything of note? Of note? These people are having a bad time. Then your findings are consistent with my own. Their plight is desperate indeed. The sick and injured are at great risk. Without warmth and proper nutrition, I fear they will soon perish. I realize there is precious little we can do for them at present, but I cannot bear to see them suffer. Please, will you help me tend to them? Of course, Alpha no. Not exactly sure how they're gonna feel about the fucking dude who took down the Praetorium, fondling them. Who's there? My eyes, I can't see all that well. Thank you. The numbness has subsided a little, but I know I won't last much longer. You should look to the others who can still fight on. Give them my ration. If me going hungry means someone else lives to see another day, so be it. At least I can still serve in that way. Harbuncle, what are you doing? So those you met fare no better. I was afraid you would say that. I know we were warned against meddling in their affairs, but we can't leave them like this. Perhaps we might gain permission to have the contingent deliver supplies. Quintus may have made his feelings on the matter quite clear, but even he must recognize they are not in a position to refuse help. Maybe Julius could persuade him, though we'd need to persuade Julius first. But that's easier than persuading the guy. Well, seen enough. Julius, the people here have barely enough food and fuel to survive. Have you and the other soldiers been able to procure any more supplies? We've been scavenging provisions from the nearby houses, as most families kept some stored away in the event they were snowed in. Still, going out and getting it is dangerous work, and we've a lot of mouths to feed. Fuel is the greater concern, though. We had some ceruleum set aside until it was stolen. We haven't identified the culprit. Could have been other refugees or one of the afflicted for all we know. Either way, we're down to the last dregs. Without the heating they need, those in poor health are only going to get worse instead of better. If it's ceruleum you need, our contingent has secured a ready supply. we can have some sent over. We will not accept your charity. We can hold on a little longer. The situation is sure to change. Everything will change. Mysterious countryman of yours. One of your comrades mentioned something along those lines. Heard something of it, have you? Well, from what I've seen, there's little you could do to interfere, so there's no harm in telling you. One of our scouts spotted a hooded man issuing instructions to the afflicted, or in that bastard's words, loyal servants of the Telepharoi. Then he made his way inside the Imperial Palace, or what stands in its place. We'd identified the seat of the enemy's power, we realized. Lord Quintus dispatched a messenger to the 10th Legion saying as much, and instructing them to join forces with the provincial legions to prepare for a combined assault on the Telepharoi. Once our allies arrive, your contingent will be sent running for the hills. Then, we shall reclaim the capital by our own hand. And how do you intend to survive in the meantime? At this rate, many of your countrymen will perish long before reinforcements reach Garlemald. They need your help now. Say the word, and we will bring you Ceruleum. Is it worth letting them die? To just deny help? I will speak with Lord Quintus. That is progress until it goes horribly fucking wrong. So, did he agree to it? Yeah. No, he will not place Garlemald in the debt of her enemies. I have, however, been ordered to search for Ceruleum outside. As you were under my watch, you will come with me. Very well. After all, many hands make light work. You lot are more trouble than you're worth. Once we're outside, you will follow my instructions to the letter. We depart shortly. Ugh! I kind of get their perspective, but Jesus Christ. His park material. Julius finds himself in a somewhat bizarre position of leading ambassadors of an enemy contingent on a salvage mission. We will begin our search for Ceruleum in Regio Urban and, oh my god, the Urban Nisima. The first location is Forum Solius, a park to the northwest of this station. You are to remain close at all times and act only as ordered. Follow me. Bum bum bum. So this is the park. I'm surprised they found space for one amongst all these buildings. Actually, the recreational areas came first. The houses were later built around them. A healthy society requires communal spaces for children to play and adults to socialize. This park was named after the founding father of the Empire, the great Solus Oscalphus. That would be our friend Emmett Selk. Did we come to extract ceruleum from the wrecked Magitech armor? No, we've already drained it dry. Same goes for the rest of the machina in the vicinity. But as our cerulean has been stolen, we must scour the city for every last drop. And while I don't expect to find anything here, I've decided to try one more time in case something has been overlooked. I see. Then, with your permission, we will commence the search. Though rather small by Garlean standards, the structure is reminiscent of a merchant stall. Perhaps it was built for children to play at shopkeeper. There is nothing inside resembling Magitech or any other devices that would be fueled by cerulean. Normally I don't keep stuff like that in the video, but I'm gonna keep that one because it's kind of like some knowledge, some dank lore on the Garlean'S map of Forum. Oh shit, ether current. The contraption is built in the style of Imperial War Machina, armed with a battery of weapons and capable of transforming into different configurations. But on closer inspection, it appears to be no more than a children's slide. Joseph, what the fuck, bro? A cursory inspection of the wrecked Magitech armor confirms that the fuel canisters have long since been drained of ceruleum, as Julius said. But what about the one I saw people interacting with in the frozen waters? What? You got a fucking problem with the way I conduct myself? That's not a yes, and that's not a no. Oh, it's you. Any luck? There's no sign of any ceruleum. Hardly surprising, but disappointing nonetheless. I couldn't help noticing you gazing at the pond. Is something the matter? What? Yes, no, it's just, I used to bring my brother and sister here to play. The pond was heated to stop it from freezing over, so like all the other children, just had to wade in and splash about. Would have stayed there if I didn't drag them out. We'd be sopping wet when all was said and done, every time. And every time, when we'd get home, Mother would scold us, saying we'd catch our death walking around like that. The pond was heated. With the ceruleum powered heater by chance? I suppose it must have been, come to think of it. I remember seeing engineers changing out a tank beneath a hatch. But it was a long time ago when the water still flowed clear and it wasn't this brackish muck. We can't see a thing, and I can't remember where the hatch might be. With the machinery most likely broken, the amount of filth in there is probably the only reason it hasn't frozen over. I wager it's still unbearably cold, though. Julius, what are your thoughts on magic? The average Garlean would jump out of their skin if they saw it, but the first is a few foreign signiferi and medici, so it doesn't scare me. Then I take it you won't mind if I employ a little now? Alphino, as you have a knack for finding dry wood, why don't you bring me some? Once that's done, a blast of a fire should do the trick. Leave it to me. Sorry for a weird edit. OBS was just acting up. I don't know what that was about. And I think it was only happening for maybe a couple minutes. I'll put an editor's note, I guess. Leave it to me. You're not planning to go in there, are you? Of course I am. That tank isn't going to fetch itself. It's nothing so involved as extracting unprocessed ceruleum from a frozen lake like how the Kappas do it. We're talking about a shallow pond in a pot. And we have a way of warming ourselves up after. But that's insane. So, fancy a dip? A little friendly competition. Last thing is you catching a cold. Step aside while I drink the pond, right? A little friendly competition might keep things interesting. Last one to find a ceruleum tank is a rotten egg, though I dare say we'll both smell like rotten eggs when this is over. Alright, OBS, you still good? I don't know what that was about. It looked like it was only maybe for a couple minutes, so. You delve into the murky water, but come up empty-handed. To add injury to insult, the icy wind on your damp clothing chills you to the bone. Not actually taking damage, that's funny as fuck. I'm just gonna fucking do every single last one until I freeze to death, huh? Beneath the water, your fingers catch on what you think might be a handle. I'm gonna look at my program for a little bit, make sure it's not freaking the fuck out anymore. I don't know what that was about. Yeah! You open the hatch and receive a ceruleum tank. However, your grand discovery comes at a great personal cost as you become acutely aware of the freezing cold and a rancid odor emanating from every ilm of your body. Julius will doubtless feel compelled to pinch his nose shut when you deliver to him your prize. Did you find anything? I hope you did. Here you go. That's it. And there's still some ceruleum left. The fire's still not ready. Hold on, I'll give Alphino a hand. Call me an Uldan, because by fire I am reborn. And my clothes are mostly dry now too. I appreciate you recovering the ceruleum, but I wish you'd taken the time to discuss the plan with me beforehand. Despite the way you've been treated in Lord Quintus's eyes, you're still envoys deserving of protection. If you were to die on my watch, he would be most displeased. Your concern is duly noted, but all's well that ends well. Julius, you mentioned coming here with your younger siblings. Did you grow up in Garlemald? I did. Not far from here. My father was an accomplished researcher in his youth, and for his contributions to the Empire awarded an estate. We lived well, better than many. What was Garlemald like in those days? Everything. It was everything you could imagine, and so much more. Even during the coldest winters, we always found warmth and comfort at home. Coming in from the snow, taking off your coat and sitting down for a hot meal with family, visiting friends and relatives, receiving that same welcome, knowing they had everything they needed. Walking down the street, seeing the lights in all the houses, hearing the faint sounds of laughter and song of happiness. And although the summers came and went all too quickly, in that brief respite the ice would melt, forgotten grass make its triumphant return. Gray cloud gave way to blue sky. Some mornings we'd climb to the top of the tallest building we could find to watch the sun rise. Never again. Those rooftops are rubble, those friends dead, and those memories. But if I could reclaim even a fraction of what we once had, soon our chance will come. Just need to hold on a little longer. Hopefully they become amenable to help, because if they just rush off without knowing the radios or stopping them from being tempered, they're just all going to literally instantly get fucked. No good deed. Now that the fire has burnt out, Julius is ready to move on. Alright, now that you've recovered from your escapades in the pond, there's another location I'd like to search just outside the park. As you can see, this place is littered with the remnants of various types of war machina. While my comrades and I have already recovered the tanks from the less damaged units, those that took a more severe beating are harder to scavenge. We decided to save those for another time, that time being now. Rather than prize them apart piece by piece, it would be quicker to remove the outer casing using compact explosives. With luck, we'll gain access to the tanks without rupturing them. Though the force generated by these devices is relatively weak, I would advise you stand well clear to avoid being hit by any shrapnel. Before even bothering, though, you should check the Machina's ceruleum gauge to see if there is any left. It should still provide an accurate reading even when the unit itself is inactive. If the gauge is broken, I'll let you decide whether to use an explosive or not. Should you need more, come to me. Okie dokie. No offense to you, guy, but this is not the first time I have blown up a Magitech armor. Understood, let's get to work. It may come as a surprise to you, but I'm something of an expert of blowing up Magitech. Is this insensitive? You retrieve the War Machina's ceruleum tank to find it is still half full, or half empty, depending on one's perspective. Either way, Julius will surely be pleased by your discovery. Oh, fuck me, the first one I actually did was the right one. That's never good. I have officially been screwed when the new relic grind starts. I will not get a single RNG drop. It's just the way that it is. More explosive? Wait, is that what I think it is? Yeah, it's half full, actually. You've done it again. Truly, luck is on your side. With this, we should be able to refuel quite a few of our heaters. It's time we headed back. Wait here while I go and see how Alice and Alphino are faring. Ah, great. High budget. That means voiced. Which means fuck shit, I assume.
Finally escaped the watchful gaze of your keepers, have we?
Thancred. That better not be you gripping my ass.
Don't react. You'll only draw attention to yourself. Just carry on as you are and listen. After you left with the Garlean lad, Lucia bade a few of us scouts follow you at a discreet distance. We observed you being led into the station, but decided against venturing inside. When you emerged sometime later, and we saw that the twins were sporting Magitech collars, it was clear what had taken place. Now, as quietly as you can, tell me everything. The Legatus himself, eh? Now there's a surprise. This is also the first I've heard of a plan to join forces with the 10th and storm the Tower of Babel. An interesting development, and perhaps the opportunity we've been waiting for. Our comrades back at the camp also received some rather promising news, but it's still too early to get our hopes up. For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them. With luck, this will all be over soon. Until then.
They had not gone far.
We searched high and low, but no luck, I'm afraid. I might have guessed you'd be the only one to find anything.
I wasn't expecting much to begin with. Eventually, there will be nothing left out here for us to safely salvage. For now, this will have to suffice. We should return to the station.
I was about to say, was that only voice just so I could hear Thancred be like...
Ah, there you are. Heard you'd gone hunting for ceruleum above ground.
That's what Thancred's doing. He's like, nobody can see me.
Brought back a king's ransom?
Hardly. But thanks to these three, we have enough to last a little while longer.
Well, well. It's not at all as I was expecting, these ones. For savages, they seem positively docile.
The Savages comment has always been a little racist-y.
It's a poor attempt at humor. In all honesty, I'm grateful for your efforts. But even with another night of warmth, there are those among us who may not live to see the morrow.
Yeah, I get it. He was just poking fun. In a racist way.
I trust your expedition was fruitful.
I do like Quintus's voice actor, though.
Lord Quintus!
Use what you procured to refuel the armor.
But, sir, what about the heaters for the camp?
The time for action is upon us. My men and I have matters to discuss. In the meantime, you are to wait here. Do not forget, you are being watched.
The time for action. What did did he mean by that?
I can only speculate. Clearly something requiring their magitech, given what we just heard. Whether they plan to utilize it now or after they join with the 10th is another question. Will they ever escape this cold? Return to and reclaim the idyllic spaces of which Eula spoke?
Finished your war, Council?
Alphino and Alizé are to stay here as our prisoners. They will be released once your comrades have relinquished their supplies and withdrawn from Garlean soil. Until our terms are met, they will be detained at a separate location.
After everything we've said and done, this is how you treat us.
Our allies have but limited supplies. They may stave off cold and starvation for a short while, but what then?
For now, keeping yourselves out of harm's way comes before all else. Whatever demands the Garleans make, indulge them.
Do as he says.
Get them out of here.
I mean, good for this guy for very clearly knowing that this shit is wrong. Alphino and Alizé will be fine, providing they do not resist. Alia lacta est. Once again, Julius has been entrusted with an unenviable task. You will accompany me back to your camp, where I will meet with your leader and present Lord Quintus's demands. Before we depart, however, there is something I would ask of you. Assuming your contingent complies, the supplies they surrender will need to be transported here. That task falls to legionaries Marcellinus and Octavia, who will pilot Magitech armor to your headquarters. You are to inform them that we are leaving shortly. Tell them to ask the eel for further details in those words. Once you've seen to that, meet me by the exit. Is he doing a coup? Is he doing a coup because his leader is a crazy bitch? I'm gonna find out. Oh, Marcellinus, you remember how you wanted to punch me? You again. Ask the eel, it said. So, that's to be the way after all this. How ironic that you should be the one to deliver the news. If those are my orders, then so be it, for the glory of Golemon. Sounding a little suicide culty there, for my tastes. What do you want with me? The words that have been said. Ask the Isle or whatever. So Lord Quintus has reached a decision. I knew he would understand, that he would recognize the savage as a ruthless, merciless creature, and to defeat him we too must be uncompromising. I am ready. In the name of Emperor Varus, for the glory of Garlemald, I will fulfill my duty. Have you done as instructed? Their duties involve more than the transportation of supplies, don't they? Duty is rarely a simple thing. We have been given additional orders, though whether we will be required to follow them depends entirely on your contingent. You and I are in this together now. Like it or not, we have to cooperate. There is one other matter, a place I'd like to visit on the way to your camp. It's a short walk from here. Follow me. Julius lingers by the ruins, reluctant to leave and reluctant to stay. Unable to move on. Is this his house? Or, well, you know, was.
This is my home. Our home. At least it was until that night. I was with Lord Quintus when the capital fell, and thus spared. My family, who did not own a radio, were less fortunate. When dawn came, I made my way here. My parents, my little brother and sister, they were still inside. But they weren't themselves, and they tried to. And I had to. I'd promised to take them away from the capital that very morning, to somewhere safe, to hide until the fighting stopped. I promised. The Garlean flag bears a chain, the bonds between our countrymen. A red link at its center, the blood of the fallen. Our loved ones who lived and died for Garlemald. But if she too fell, who would be left to remember them and their sacrifice? What enduring proof would there be that they were ever here? If we had turned to your gods, would they have saved us? I'm sorry, forget I spoke.
Sorry for a weird edit. My cat just came over here, was just like, "Meow," and just being very weird right now.
We should go.
It's no use. Believe me, I do not enjoy being here any more than you. But he wanted us to play along, so that is what we will do.
She's like, I can't. Only a little. But maybe a little more. And a little more. I'm really fucking cold. And he's cold too.
It's so cold. Painfully so. Unbearably.
I've been thinking about what Quintus said. About why no one would accept Garlean rule. Irreconcilable differences. When coexistence isn't an option, only conquest remains. Varus at Gimlet said much the same. Only by uniting the world beneath a single standard would we rid ourselves of the Ascians. United as one people. One race cleansed of imperfections, a cold and unforgiving vision. And when we fail to live up to their standards, what place is there for us in their world? But the truly sad, truly frustrating thing is how damnably similar it all is to the lofty ideals of Father and the Forum. Non-intervention. Always non-intervention. Protect our knowledge and our people, and to hells with the rest of you. And yet, I can see how it happened. Varys and Father looked to their elders for guidance and took their virtues as their own. But for this world was of their making. In who else could they place their trust? All of us lost in a sea of chaos, searching desperately for purpose and meaning. But it shouldn't just be an extension of another's. It has to be ours. It has to be. We all have a stake in this world. No one should be silenced.
I won't deny that we lack the experience of people such as Father or Quintus. Perhaps they've come to see the world as a series of problems, and the most efficient way of solving them, to reduce everything to fundamental forms. A stone is a stone, a cloud, a flower, no more than that. Simple descriptions that strip the subject of distinguishing characteristics. A man is a man, divided according to race, creed, or allegiance, and to some, defined by such associations.
Is that what you think?
In my misbegotten youth. But what I believed wisdom was no more than aggressive ignorance. I've since learned to look beyond the banners and the politics, to see people as individuals with their own hopes and dreams. As for my dream of building a better world, well, every day I'm reminded that it is far more complex than I had ever imagined. But it only spurs me onward, to find the wisdom and the strength to see it through to the very end.
All of our supplies and an immediate withdrawal. These are your conditions?
Demands. And you forgot about the airship. Once again, you will leave one behind. It will be used to return the prisoners. Their collars will be removed prior to the exchange.
So in the end, not even Father's expertly worded rhetoric could deter you from your chosen course.
Huh?
Not that I thought for a moment that it would. I've no love for violence, of course, but ours is a cause worth fighting for. Sometimes the only way to protect the ones you love is to take a stand, to refuse to suffer in silence. I want you to know I share your conviction. Whether it be on the battlefield or in the debating chamber, I won't back down. I guess what I'm saying is...
You've found your own reason to fight.
Yes. Yes, I have. God's willing, there will come a day when we can finally lay down our arms, and there will be peace. But not until the Telophoroi have been defeated once and for all. And you, brother, will have a vital part to play. By your words and deeds, you'll lead the way.
I pray I am up to the task.
There'll always be naysayers. Those who think us fools for even trying. It's easy for learned elites to criticize earnest efforts and assert their moral superiority, all without offering alternatives. Not that their sophistry has ever wounded you. So stubborn and strong. Stronger than you even know. Don't ever change, you hear me? If you stumble, I'll be there to catch you. Or give you a thick ear. Maybe both, for good measure.
Thank you, Alize.
Oh, Estinian, I hope you didn't fucking kill that guy.
The scouts have secured Alize and Alphino. Their collars were removed without complication as well. They report no casualties, not for their party nor the guards, who will wake from their premature slumber in due course.
It would appear the situation has changed. I propose new terms. We have information that will be of great interest to Lord Quintus, and I wish to speak with him in person.
No. In the event you rejected our first proposal, we came prepared with a second.
Ambush!
More are coming! Make ready!
We, the loyal soldiers of the First Legion, proud servants of Garlemald, of the fallen Emperor Varys, shall safeguard these lands from the barbarian hordes until our countrymen return! Stop, both of you!
This child may be the worst emissary I've ever seen.
We received an urgent communication from the Grand Company of Eorzea. Envoys from the Imperial Army, led by members of the 10th Legion, came to Alamigo and requested an audience. They explained that their efforts to coordinate the reclamation of the capital with the aid of the 4th, 5th, 8th, and 12th had ended in failure. Communication between most legions has broken down entirely. Most of the 10th's conscripts have deserted, leaving their forces severely depleted. That is why, unable to continue the fight on their own, they and their allies turned to the Grand Company of Eorzea for aid.
Lies! Every word!
It is the truth, and I have not finished. The 10th has requested that we deliver a message to Lord Quintus. Have the ill stand down.
How else would they know about that?
You have been listening, my lord? What are your orders?
Inform her that we will honor the 10th's decision. Bereft of hope, and now dignity. I release you from your duty. All of you. I take solace, your radiance, in the knowledge you are not here to witness our debasement. 'Twas a grand, glorious dream we shared. Of a world united, of peace and prosperity. We are ghosts, you and I, Memories of days gone by. Bonds forged in blood that I will not see tarnished.
Please only point that at your head.
Quickly! We have to reach the station before it's too late.
I don't agree with him doing that, but at least he didn't take anybody else with him.
If there is still a chance that Quintus will agree to a truce, we must take it.
I just hope we get there before he and his men do something rash.
Fuck. I thought because he would kill himself, then nothing else would fucking go awry, but I guess that's not gonna happen. Maybe? How fucking stubborn can you be? Jesus Christ. Much and more has occurred since last we met. As for determining what comes next, we must speak with Lord Quintus. Well, at least you can more easily poke his brain now. Strange bedfellows, with the immediate crises averted, Lucia seeks to gain a clear understanding of the present situation. Before we proceed, tell me what you know of the First Legion and the disposition of their forces. Poor Julius. They were preparing for war while the refugees in their care were left to go hungry? A reckless, so short-sighted plan that risks the welfare of the people they were sworn to protect. Nevertheless, we cannot compel them to accept our aid. If we were to arrive in force with the intent to do so, we would only incite panic. But perhaps they can be persuaded to follow one of their own. Go with Julius back to the station and have him lead the refugees here. Some may be unwilling or unable to leave, but for the time being, I'll take what I can get. Alfino, Alice, and the scouts sent to extricate them should already be at the station. I will also have our other comrades in the area lend their support should it be needed. Understood. So I knew that guy was going to. Apparently I leveled up from this dude. I have a weird curse where or a boon? Blessing? Where I level up when doing the map all the time. It's fucking weird. Shows off, Julius. We arrived just before you did, and too late. Too late for what? What's happened? It's Lord Quintus. He took his own life. What? After the news about the 10th, he relieved us of our duties. Then, when he was alone, he... No, he wouldn't. Tancred and the others, assisted by the soldiers, have seen to the remains. In due course, shall the legatus be afforded a proper burial. He released us from our duty. He wanted us to be free. Free to choose our own fate. Without him to guide us, I have just this moment spoken with Lucia. We are ready to commence the transfer of the refugees here to Camp Broken Glass, should they be willing to accept our aid. Some would rather die, but most of us just want to live. Songs and standards be damned, we just want to live. Willing to speak with the refugees. They'll have to decide for themselves if they wish to come with us. If any would prefer to stay, we can have supplies brought over for them. It'll be a hard journey for the others, but we'll see they reach our camp safely. It was only ever a dream, wasn't it? Think we could reclaim it. Rebuild it all ourselves. Before this all began, I sent my wife and daughter away at the provinces. If there's a chance I might see them again, I'll take it. So take me. Take me with you, please. Big sad. I'm not saying much because I'm trying to absorb all this, but it's fucked up. But it just... Well, got the Aetheryte sorted in the end. All it took was a few adjustments, and now it works as well as it ever did. From what I can tell, the one in Lathurum is also functioning as normal. That's where you lot are staying, isn't it? Now that most of us are packing up and leaving the place, I reckon there'll be more use for me and my skills over at your camp. Ah, it's you. The one who treated me with such kindness. I heard from the others that you're not from around here. I thought you were one of us, not that it makes much difference now. Purebloods, migrant savages, after a while the words start to lose meaning, until all you're left with is anger and fear and hate, and I'm too tired. If you and yours have come to offer aid, I'd be glad to accept. Well, that went better than I expected. It's cool that the bloodstain's still there. We have much to discuss. I'll rescue the attack on Camp Broken Glass. What we'd hoped to talk about with Quintus. But all of that can wait. More urgent matters demand our attention. Are any of the refugees willing to come to our camp? Yeah, a few actually. Thank the 12. Thank the 12. Now, you and I should go first and secure the route back to the Camp Broken Glass. With all the creatures and Tempest skulking about, I expect we'll have our hands full. This should come in handy. Conqueror's Chain, courtesy of the Lomans and friends. I'd save it for the Tempered, though. Mark a few points that need surveying on your map. Once you've taken care of the riffraff, we'll meet back at our camp. Ah, there you are. As expected, I ran into a few beasts who went down without much of a fight. The Tempered proved somewhat troublesome, but those chains should keep them under control until our allies take them into custody. With that taken care of, I'm to gather a few supplies and then return to the station. While I see to that, would you mind apprising Lucia of our progress? As it happens, I have some rather pertinent information from our recent scouting forays, but I'll save that for later. First things first and all that. Ah, shows off. I was informed of Quintus's suicide. It must have come as a great shock to his men. What of the refugees? I'm told some were receptive to our proposal, but I would hear your first-hand account. Well, you heard correct. Why is my chat open? That so many did not hesitate to accept proves how desperate their situation has become. We'll do our best to make them feel welcome. The troops who participated in the ambush are no exception. They will be afforded the same treatment as any other refugees. Perfidity notwithstanding, after all. Even if I wanted to make an example of them, there's no one left to learn from it. We will tell our allies that these soldiers were acting under the direct orders of their legatus, and that following his suicide they offered a full and unconditional surrender. Perhaps Quintus thought that had he lived, he would be tried as a war criminal, and his men punished with him. Perhaps by taking his own life, he hoped to absolve them of any culpability, or perhaps, like too many others, he was a true believer to the end. Who can say? I didn't know the man, or his heart. His reasons, noble or otherwise, died with him, and it falls to us to clean up the mess. Possibly both. Well, anyway, that is all the time I have. It's another longer one, but these Garlemald things have been really good. Hope you guys enjoyed. Did let me know in the comments down below, and like the video. It always helps a lot. And if you guys are playing Endwalker, let me know what you think. But I hope you guys are staying safe with everything going on. I love you all. Hope your dreams come true, and I will see you guys next time. So peace out, everyone.